right in the heart of Lehi's historic Main Street is a family-run shop that's been a community staple for over 100 years. What started as a local small-town pharmacy is now Pioneer Party Gift and Copy, a family-run, independent gift and copy store. They specialize in unique, ready-to-give gifts, balloons, personalized banners, and so much more, and their high-quality products and creative flair set them apart from the big box stores that try to offer something similar. I interviewed Emily, who since filming purchased the family business from her dad, making her the new owner of Pioneer Party Gift and Copy. Congratulations, Emily. People from all over Utah order from Pioneer Party, making it a true staple and state treasure. In this episode, we're diving into how Pioneer Party really separated themselves from the competition, allowing them to thrive as an independent store in today's market, and how other businesses can do the same. All of that and more on this episode of UtahPreneur. Emily, thanks so much for having us.
Yes, thanks for thinking of coming here.
Yeah, we love it.
We're excited to tell our story.
I did a poll kind of in the Lehi Facebook group, like, hey, what's the business that is the staple of Lehi? And by far, Pioneer Party won.
Really?
So,
oh, nice.
I knew I had never heard of it, but I knew we had to come here. And
I kind of feel bad you've never heard of it.
Well, I didn't grow up in Lehi, so
Okay.
this is my first time down like the historic Main Street here.
Really?
I'd only ever gone as far as Lehi Roller Mills.
Yeah.
So this is actually very cool and a very historic spot. Like, it has a lot of character.
Yeah.
So take us back. You are the fourth generation of Eakins different last name, maybe in the fourth generation.
Yeah.
That has been in this family business. What's your earliest memory of Pioneer Party, or what it was before Pioneer Party?
My earliest is being a kid with a beanbag in the back room. My mom was probably I think she subbed a little bit for school, and my dad was running the store, and I must have been too young to go to school, but I remember watching a movie in the back on a beanbag and playing with the crutches. That was the most fun thing, because they would rent crutches at the drugstore, and when no one was in the store or was closed or whatever, we got to run around and play with crutches.
Okay.
It's probably my earliest. And then I have lots of memories of working here when I was, teenager.
Of course. So did your family grow up just around the block here?
Yeah, we grew up down the street, just 3 or 4 blocks away. Yeah.
Amazing. So give us the history. I know you weren't alive for probably most of it, but what did Pioneer Party start as, and how did it grow into what it is today?
Okay, so my great-grandpa bought Lehi Drug from the person, and I think his name was Merrihew, the last name Merrihew. And then my grandpa bought it from him, and then my dad bought it. So we're going back for 1919 or 1917, and then kind of a switch in 1950. I think my grandpa bought it, and then my dad bought it from him as Lehi Drug in the 80s, I believe. Okay. I'm not sure exactly. And then it switched to Pioneer Party in 95. So it's been around for a long time, for sure.
And what was the switch in 95? What happened there?
So the pharmacy, my dad, when he bought it, my grandpa was a pharmacist, so he was running the pharmacy. My dad, when he bought it, is not a pharmacist, and it was just a little bit too much to pay and insure and everything. And that is when all the big box Walmarts and Kmarts and all that put pharmacies in their stores. So it just seemed like a good transition time. So he sold the pharmacy to Kmart and American Fork. And we had some family polls of what should we name it? What should we do with this business? And my dad he's always been really big about what does the community need? It's not what we want to sell, it's what does the community need? And so it was, at that time, we didn't have a copy store, we didn't have a party store, there was no place to stop and get balloons. And those things were selling at our store. So we kind of did this thing, and we wanted to support the local Lehi High School, which are the Pioneers. And so the name that stuck was Pioneer Party and Copy.
Okay.
So it was kind of let's put both in so everybody knows we do party and copies.
Very cool. And now today it's Pioneer Party Copy and Gifts, right?
Yeah, officially it's not officially that on paper, but I think it's kind of a Pioneer Party gift and copy.
Oh, gift and copy. Apologies.
But
got those mixed up.
Anyways.
So you, in 95, were you like a high schooler? What age were you
Yeah,
and what were you doing in
I
the
was a
store?
junior in high school, and I remember I had a big group of friends, and I remember some of my guy friends coming and helping, like take out displays, haul out things, rip out like displays and stuff, and help.
Okay,
And we had a big pizza party, and yeah, it was fun. It was a I don't know, like a moment. Looking back, it was a momentous thing to be a part of.
cool.
That was back too when there were no stoplights in Lehi.
Oh, wow.
Like the first stoplight didn't come till 96, if I'm remembering right. So it sounds like we were in like a pioneer town,
Okay.
like an actual.
And what did you do? Like, did you work when you were really young, like 8, 9, 10, or just kind
No,
of
I
were
think
in
I
the
was just
store?
around. Yeah, I probably started working when I was 15-ish, but I played sports and stuff in high school, cheered and all that stuff. So it wasn't like I wasn't like an everyday thing.
I see.
I've always been interested in, I kind of have that with my dad. I love the community. I love the people. I love the regulars. I like making, anyway, so it just interested me to just be here. It makes me happy to help people. So,
Yeah, there's nothing like that. My mom we were talking before, she runs a swim school, and she'll just be in Costco, and someone will be like, hey, you taught me to swim when I was 3.
yes, yes,
You can't
totally.
recreate that with some kind of corporate
Right.
whatever. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
And especially like the physical location where you guys are, it's a meeting place. It's a like, hey, meet me by Pioneer Party, or let's
Yeah.
head there first before we go somewhere else, kind of thing.
Yeah. And back in the day it was so much more slow, obviously, on Main Street, and there was a lot more walking, and like at the end of the school year, everyone would come down to Main Street and have like a shaving cream fight and a water fight. And there was it was called the Broadcaster on the corner. So everyone would get burgers and fries, and like, so it used to be a little bit more of that. Now that it's a little bit busier and crazy traffic and stuff, I don't know that it's as much, but
I got it.
I love that it's still a staple in the community.
Yeah. So walk us through what happened after high school. Did you work here? Have you worked here ever since, or did you kind of leave for a time and come back?
I left for a couple of years to go to Dixie College,
Okay.
and then I went to the University of Utah, got a health degree,
Okay.
just kept working here, got married, and it just was probably more out of convenience,
Okay.
kind of, and feeling comfortable and not. I'm a person of habit, so
Yeah.
so I didn't go into the health field.
I see.
And then when I started having kids and stuff, it just was so nice because I could work. I worked, 3 days a week part time, and yeah, that's kind of so. But I have been here for the most part.
Yeah, and there's nothing like kids running, like someone that's grown up in the business and been taught by the parent that owns the business.
Yeah,
The values and the like, hey, this is exactly how I want things done. The minute
Yeah.
you start hiring outside employees, you're like, oh, I didn't realize I had to teach that because I
so
just
much.
absorbed it, growing up.
So much. I think that's one of the things that is really hard to when you're looking for employees to get someone that can kind of see the overall picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're just kind of working the front desk here for years, or what was your job?
Yeah, just being a regular employee. I remember my aunt was a manager here for a while, my dad's sister, and I remember like would order the balloons, and I kind of started learning from her of like, oh, this is who we order from. This is how you want to do the stock, and
Yeah.
so it's just, I guess, just learning a little bit from all the people around. And I'm trying to think, probably kind of started more like running it when I was maybe like 25-ish.
Okay.
That's just an estimate. And but I've never worked here full time. Like it's 9 to 5 and then I'm here after hours, and that is a good thing and a bad thing. I think the store could be so much, honestly, better if we had more full-time, even me. But it's always been kind of my family's first, my husband's first, and this is a side thing.
Got it.
I'm just saying it's never been like a 50, 60 hours a week for years kind of thing
I see.
for anybody. And that's one thing I think we do lack, actually, is having, 2 or 3 just full-time, all the time, consistent employees.
Yeah. Well, it begs an interesting question because I don't think scale is necessarily the name of the game for a business like this. Like you guys you probably don't have to do that much marketing. You're just
Right.
kind of in the right spot. You have a household name. So, you could bring in the suits, so to speak, and like try to grow things. But part of the charm is that it's not that. It's just this
Yeah.
fun family-owned thing, right?
Yeah. There have been so many people ask if we are going to franchise. When are you going to open up north? When are you going to open up south? And so there has been lots of opportunities, but I think just because I've always wanted to be a mom,
Yeah.
and the other girls that have worked here, we've had some really amazing people that have helped manage, but they're always kind of the same. They're women that have families, and
Yeah.
so no one really wanted to take it and run with it.
Yeah.
So I think there is still an opportunity to be like, hey, we're going to open up 3 more stores in Utah,
Yeah.
and kind of try to keep that quaint local thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know
Is that something you want to do?
maybe not. If I had someone I could say, hey, I trust you, will
Yeah.
you do it? I think it'd be awesome. But
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
a bold decision.
yeah,
It's harder to say no nowadays than it is to say yes to this growth. And
yeah,
I had another interview earlier this week. Elise Jackson from Beehive Meals. You probably know Beehive Meals.
uh-huh.
They tried to expand into Arizona, spent like $2 million, this massive build out, and just had to shut down like
Oh,
8
really?
months later. And not that would happen to you guys, but
But there is
you
that.
have this rose-colored glasses of like, this is what's going to happen next. If we open another store, it'll run just like this one.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's market dynamics and other things that you just can't recreate.
Yeah, and like you said, yeah, we have this this spot. We have it's a household name and all going for us.
Yeah.
Here, so
Yeah, it's hard to recreate that wind in your sails in another market.
yeah.
Yeah. So tell me how Pioneer Party has evolved. We were speaking before. You said we're kind of this hodgepodge of a bunch of different
Yeah.
gifts and balloons and etc. But it just kind of started out as like penny candy, balloons, and copies, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so maybe probably early 2000s, we had a lady working here that was really creative, and people were coming in monthly and wanting LDS visiting teaching gifts.
Okay.
And people started coming. We're like, we should and we would kind of make something up for them on the spot with, we had a little bit of cellophane, a little bit of ribbon. And so we thought we should just have a few, even if it was like 15 things on the shelf ready to go for visiting teaching.
Okay.
And so that was the start of all of these themed gift bags.
Okay.
And so at first she would put a little funny pun or a cute creative saying on, like an AW can, like, I hope you have an awesome month.
Okay.
And with a little candy, and they started flying. Because it
Wow.
was the first, I don't know that anybody, it was kind of the first like Pinteresty thing
Yes.
here,
That was the word. I was like, this is so Utah. But I'm like, it's not necessarily Utah.
It's
Pinterest.
Yeah. So that has been an evolving thing that started out little, and then we got up to the point where we were selling like 1,500 visiting teaching gifts and shipping them all over.
Oh wow.
And then it's, now we have a birthday section, a get well section, a congrats, a good luck, and people come in and be like, do you have a opening your mission call gift? And I'm like, no, that's a little specific.
Yeah.
But then the thing is then we try to make one. We're like, well, what do you want? Let's do it,
Yeah.
And I think that's actually side note, but that's why people keep coming back in, is because we're not just going to say, no, we don't.
Yeah.
It will try to help them.
It's great. Your customers tell you what they want, and then you make 5 of those, and then they start flying off the shelves, and you
Yeah.
make 50 more.
Yeah. And then the other thing is the copies have really grown. Like we had no idea. So yeah, we started out with a little copy center in the back corner of the store, and now we've enlarged. So now there's more in this corner of the store, and we do a lot of more printing than I ever imagined.
And what is most of the printing, like big posters or?
It's a lot of banners and posters,
Okay.
a lot of graduation, welcome homes, happy birthdays. Like it usually is some sort of celebration more than like business banners. So again, it's kind of like targeting the local people,
Yeah.
And then the printing is everything. It is a little mixture of business, but also lots of local handouts and flyers for neighborhoods and things like that.
Okay, cool. You mentioned online like shipping. How much of your business do people come pick up and how much of it do you ship out?
It's not. It's I don't know the percentages. It's maybe 10% that we ship out.
Okay. And is that something you'd be interested in growing? Like that?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
So overall, big plans of the store is probably to kind of create a more of a big space for production and shipping that we don't have right now. But we have plenty
Oh,
of room, but we don't have it designated for that.
I see.
So big plan would be to kind of designate
Okay.
some space in the store for that
Yeah.
specific thing.
Very
I know
cool.
like our website sales like the last year have gone up like 27%
Okay.
ish. When I say 27, that's really specific, but then I say ish, around there.
I get it.
Anyway,
Don't
so
worry.
I think there's room to kind of focus on that for sure.
Yeah, that's huge. And allows you to expand without having to get another retail space.
Yes, yeah.
How has the growth of Lehi generally affected Pioneer Party?
It's a good question. I think overall, like you look at like our sales have continued to go up every year. I don't know if it's in exact proportion to the growth of Lehi.
Mm.
So on one hand, I think of course there's more people, there's more word of mouth, but on the other hand, I think a lot of people don't want to come down to this area because they feel like it's congested. There's not a lot of parking, and there's so many other stores,
Yeah.
that they can visit and get things at now.
I see.
Now there's balloons and all the grocery stores and things like that. So I don't know. That would be
Yeah.
interesting to look more into. But
What do you think you've done right to grow every single year since inception?
partly just kind of looking at what is selling and making sure that those products are on point. We have new and fun and unique things in that area, and making sure we're up to date with printing and all the office equipment things that we need. Dell's been really good about making sure that we try to keep up with the growth of just technology and all that. Yeah, I wish I had a better answer to that.
No, that's great. You mentioned kind of employees and staffing being one of the challenges of the business. I think any mom and pop type shop is feeling that, especially in the last few years. You want to pay something that people will motivate people. It's a livable
Yeah.
wage, but you also have margins and things to manage on the back end. And you want to hire people that are culturally a good fit
Yeah.
and can live up to those values that we mentioned. What advice would you have for another Utah entrepreneur looking to hire great employees?
I think if you find your best employee and you write down or you pinpoint their characteristics and what you want when you interview, that you're not just looking for like a warm body. You're looking for these specific things. And I think to be picky, to try to really find that person. And it is kind of hard though. Like I think values a little bit have changed, and teenagers want a bigger paycheck than maybe the work sometimes that they're wanting to give out. And I'm not saying my employees, I'm just in general. I feel like there's a lot of like, let's do the bare minimum for the most amount of money. So,
I see.
and this store is not that. Like there's so much to do, and we're hand making so many things. So there's always things to do, things to make. So I guess it would just be to make sure you're like really pinpointing what you need and then finding that person and not just being like complacent with, you're there, you're available, come and work.
I see.
I don't know if that's really the best advice, but because I think I could probably use advice about how to find great people and keep them, and
And what would you say those characteristics are for the people that you hire here?
self-starters, someone that is aware and doesn't have to be told everything to do, energetic, and at least for us, we want someone that that's very much like wants to go and do and be involved and kind of have that personal pride of like, I did a good job today, Self-starter. I think that would probably be the biggest thing.
Great.
Someone that's motivated.
Okay, so this is kind of along the lines of what we've already spoken about, but maybe a slightly different angle. You mentioned that Pioneer Party's sales have grown every year since it started. What do you think has allowed you to compete so well against big box stores? Everything that's going on in Silicon Slopes and the convenience of being able to grab a balloon at Smith's or wherever somebody is.
I think overall maybe uniqueness, like trying to be a little bit different than all those stores. So like our balloons, you can go buy a balloon anywhere, but we always have made sure that we have like really high quality latex. Same with helium. There's different grades of helium, and some is more pure and it will last longer. For example, the high float that we put in, we make sure that like there's a trick to make sure that you coat it just right. And there's a little bit of science so that the helium doesn't leak. And we train our girls to do all those things so that our balloons will be known as the ones that last a long time. Cool. And then and even all the unique shapes and stuff, we pride ourselves in having a lot of different vendors that we pick and choose what we get from them. So we can create a fun bouquet that you can't just go get somewhere else.
Yeah.
So that's just an example, is like the balloons that we try to keep them unique. Yeah, and same with products. Like you can't go into a Walmart and buy a little gift bag that has a cute tag on it that's personalized kind of for your occasion, And during graduation, we have all the different, we have purple tags for the pioneers, we have Westlake, so it's all blue, we have, and so things like that.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I mean, unless you submit your own design on online Walmart, whatever.
Yeah.
But to just have it at a click of a button or just walk in the store, that's amazing.
But that also has not provided. That's what I think has kept us going. But it also is a little bit of a challenge too, because it takes a lot of manpower.
Yeah.
Instead of just like ordering bulk gifts or bulk products and sticking them on the shelf.
Yeah.
We're creating all these things. So.
Yeah, I was taking a look at the gift section. It was like ingredients to be a mom or whatever, and some kind of like fun list of ingredients, and then some of the candies in the back that match that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got to think of this. You got to source the products. You got to print it. You got to make sure that the print is aesthetically pleasing to modern day, moms or whoever's going to be getting it.
Yeah.
What are some of the other biggest challenges you guys face as a small business in Lehi?
Probably prices. Like, our prices are probably going to be higher because we're not buying in bulk, and so that would probably be one.
Communicating that value to the customer when they're just in their mind, they're comparing you to the big box store
100%.
That's completely generic.
Yeah. I can go and buy a dozen balloons, or I'm just keep using balloons, but for this much at the dollar store, they're $1 a piece or $1.25, and here they're $1.50 or $2.
Yeah.
But it's not totally comparing apples to apples, but so that's the thing. It's interesting. It would be interesting to have someone come and help us like analyze, but we do have people that are really wanting that value. And there's so many people that just want the unique and they don't really care what the price point is.
I see.
So it's interesting that there's such a mix of customers actually.
Yeah. The thing that strikes me the most is how deeply embedded this or dependent on the ecosystem of where you guys are. But it also goes both ways. Like the community is dependent on you, and you're dependent on the community, and it's this cool symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
That it isn't designed to go massive or corporate or national, and that's what allows you to keep growing sales.
Yeah, it's kind of magical.
Yeah.
I feel like when you think of it that way, there's been so many times people be like, I don't know what I'd do without Pioneer Party. It is, they come to get all the different little things and they're like, I don't know where I would go.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure, you would figure it out if we weren't here. But yeah, it is kind of an amazing thing.
Yeah. And they're paying at the end of the day for you to think for them.
Yep. That comment comes a lot too, is like, I could do this myself, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
It's already here. It's done. I have so many more things to do.
How many new like gifts or bouquets or things like that are you guys making at this point?
It's daily.
Oh, wow.
Honestly, like sometimes it'll be 3 years and we're like, oh, this gift hasn't really changed. So we're going to update it, and it will just be a spur of the moment. We're going to get online. We're going to get on the computer. We're going to fix the design. We're going to update it.
And that's updating one. And you're also daily coming up with like a new idea.
Maybe not daily with a new idea, but Probably, I don't even know. We don't really have a set thing, but like for sure, like every month we come out with a new monthly ministering gift.
Okay.
Every holiday we come up with new ones, and I feel like we actually do kind of live holiday to holiday here,
Yeah.
or holiday meaning even graduation or whatever. So every time that comes around, we're always creating new gifts because we're the same customers are coming in a lot, and we want them to have something fresh to look at.
Yeah. Do you guys sell on Etsy or any other type of online platform
No,
like that?
I'm sure there probably is something there, but we've got our hands full
Oh, totally.
with just this and a little bit of website sales.
I've heard of very successful people that all they do is sell the design, the printable on Etsy.
Yes.
And the seasonality of it is insane. So like, for example, love coupons that you give on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
They're not going to sell 11 months out of the year, but the month that they do sell, you're going to have
crazy
sales. So what's one of your favorite stories of like a custom things that you've created or a customer that's come in and asked for something crazy?
Okay, what comes to mind first is we do those balloon gifts that you put a balloon or a gift inside of a balloon. It doesn't float. It just sits on the counter and you do a cute bow on top and everything. Two things. I remember one time someone came in and put an engagement ring in. And we put it in for them.
Oh,
and
wow.
so it was just so fun to hear this guy's, it's been years, but to hear this guy's story and how they met. And we sat and talked to him about his story, and then as we put this engagement ring in and so that was fun to see this diamond ring go out in a balloon. And then
Wow.
I remember someone bringing in like, I don't know, $3,000 or $4,000 and they were going to pay off their dentist bill.
Okay.
And they wanted it in a balloon, in cash, in dollar bills. And so we stuffed it and, they left just happy as can be. And that is so fun to me to see, like, they're going to go make someone else's day in a fun and creative way that someone else is going to remember. And I love that we were a part of that, that little part.
Spreading the joy to your dentist.
Yes, yes. One balloon wrap at a time.
I'd love to go back as well. Like we've talked about the local feel and charm of all of this. What's the history of the building that you guys are in? And let's start there.
Okay. I know it used to be a movie house, and there was it was more of a theater, I guess, not like I think it was an actual like seat stadium kind of style. Okay. I've seen so many cool pictures of that. And then moving to the drugstore, I guess they came and demolished everything, brought everything out, and then put all the displays in and all the things for the Lehi drug. So there was a big soda fountain that I guess was kind of famous for it being a very state-of-the-art soda fountain.
Okay.
You could come in and get a custom soda. This building didn't used to be so wide, and so it was a little bit thinner, and then there was a alley, and then the next building over, and when my grandpa bought it, he extended out. And so you can still see the alley downstairs underneath in the basement.
Cool. And you mentioned in the basement you have some old displays from like 1920, 1930, right?
Yeah.
What did they say on them? Just like Lehi drug?
There's Lehi drug. There's like Rexall. There's this big, huge brown wooden, heavy counter that is super long. I have no idea how it got down there from up here. Okay. But I wish it could be up here. It's just amazing with like kind of ornate handles and lots of glass displays that little trinkets probably used to be in. I remember we used to sell watches like way back, and so there's like velvet little thing with things to put watches on. Yeah, it is kind of, I think I take it for granted because I grew up here and I know about them all, but I think people that go downstairs every once in a while, they're like, wow, there is a lot down here.
Yeah. So your dad, Dale, has been part of this business since probably the 50s?
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest business or customer service lessons that you've picked up from him?
The phrase customers always come first is ingrained in my head. Customers come first. Customers come first, So that is one. He always wants to make sure that the customer feels good when they leave. Every month, I don't know if this is like how normal it is. To me, it's normal, but every month we have a staff meeting and it's a mandatory like 2-hour thing. And always we have a customer service like tidbit or 15-minute thing, and we just usually, sometimes it's a manager that's like teaching, sometimes we have an employee teach, And whether it's like we go over scenarios of what to do when this happens, or whether it's we go over rules of customer service. So, and that's always been his thing. Like, what are we doing for the customer service month, like this month? So
Okay.
I don't know if there's any specific rules other than to make sure they're treated right. He always would rather err on the side of helping them, even if it's not the best for us as far as money. If there's a mistake made or a complaint or something, it's always like, well, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. He's always been really good with that.
And any other memories of him growing up, like seeing him as the owner of
Yeah,
Pioneer Party?
he's done a great job. So he used to be the fire chief in town, Lehi
wow.
fire chief. And that was when it was volunteer. And then he helped transition Lehi City to a full-time fire department, which was huge. And the whole time he was also still owning this business. So I remember working here, and he would come in at 5 after a shift on the fire department. He would write the checks. He would do any stocking or anything, any of the like random, just the ownership, I guess, not random ownership things. And then he'd get up in the morning and be a fire chief from 9 to 5. And, and a lot of times after hours too, because he was on call. So he's always been here no matter what's going on in his life.
Yeah.
He comes every night and locks up and turns the lights out. And that's something that he really, I think it's nice because he lives close, but he doesn't really want anyone else to do. He is the owner, and he is going to make sure the building's safe and the kind of everything's in their place for the night.
Yeah.
Which is actually a good example for me, like to make sure that he takes it very serious. And the way he is ran things as the owner has been really obviously good because we're still here.
Yeah. One thing I did want to ask you about, I think it's quite rare for a business like this to own their real estate.
Yeah.
How has that affected both the economics and the business as a whole over the years?
I don't know from his point of view, but I mean, I know he's lucky that he doesn't have to pay a lease every month or rent every month, he did pay for it at one point, I guess, he bought it from his dad, the business and the building. But yeah, this is a big piece of real estate sitting here on Main Street for sure. So it's obviously a benefit to him.
Very cool. But I assume he's not the type of person to like take out a loan against the real estate or something like that.
No. And that is, as far as I know, there has never been like I don't think he's making millions, but he's never taken out big loans to do anything. He's just had like saved and not taken a lot out personally, so he can make improvements, so we can get a new roof, so we can do whatever. Cool. Yeah.
Talk to me about the managerial team today at Pioneer Party. It's obviously you, your father.
Yeah, and there's 2 other girls, and it's like sometimes it's like I feel like it's a miracle that we're running like we are because all 3 of us are part-time. We do put a lot of hours in, but we're not like I said, we're not 8 hours a day, 5 days a week or 6 days a week. And between 3 of us, we are making it go. And like one of the girls, for example, she started when she was 16, and I'm not sure how old she is, but she has 5 kids now.
Wow.
And she is just a doll. She is great with customers. She is beautiful. She wraps things beautiful. She's great with our employees, does a lot of the ordering. So yeah, that's a long-time employee. And then my younger sister is one of the other managers. And she also is very involved she's got a lot going on with her family. But when she dives into Pioneer Party stuff, she is great. So it's kind of cool how we make it work with 3 of us. And
do you guys have like a weekly meeting where you all get together?
Maybe once a month we do get together and go over things. Going forward, like some of our goals this year will be a little bit more continuity and meeting and a little bit more organization.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You mentioned this 2-hour meeting. I think that's a really interesting practice that I haven't really heard of.
Yeah.
What else gets covered besides the customer service minute?
With there being all the different products and offerings, like so when we train a girl, like they have to know how to blow balloons good, make all the different shapes and everything. They need to know how to print from multiple printers or 2 multiple printers. Editing banners, making GIFs, binding, laminating. Like there's just so many things. So it's a good time to go over anything that needs to be. So we usually do some sort of training, and we usually go over anything that comes up that we all need to be on the same page about every month. Like there's something new. Like for example, there's a big podcast called Inklings in Utah, and they have us print their books twice a year.
Oh, okay.
And so when that comes up, for example, there's all these little things like, okay, this is how you print the book. This is how we are binding them. This is how we're processing the orders. This is how we're, So it seems like there's always something like that, though. So we're going over, like, making sure we're on the same page.
I see.
And then customer service. And then a lot of times we stock the shelves. We use it to get ahead for the next holiday or whatever.
I see, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, given the seasonality of the business, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is what's coming down the pipeline, and keeps you as a managerial team accountable to being prepared so that they can be prepared.
Yeah. And it's really cool because I think between meetings, I guess just not all meetings, but and the employees working together, it's fun to see the friendships that have formed with the employees. Some of them have never met before they worked here, and then now they're roommates in college and like bridesmaids and best women. Is that what they're best men? Bridesmaids.
Maid of honor.
Maid of honor, yes,
what it is.
at weddings and stuff like that. So you weren't asking about that, but that is a fun benefit that it's fun to see. Like I almost feel like the mom or the grandma of the business, and when I see all these little girls and cute, teenagers making friends and friendships. So
that's so fun, and they probably have nostalgia out the wazoo when they come visit years later.
Yes, yeah.
So what's next for Pioneer Party?
Dell is getting ready to retire. It looks like I and my husband will be kind of just taking over and I guess officially buying the business at some point. And we are hoping to continue like it has been, but also maybe kind of fine tune it a little bit more. We've gotten so into so many different things that it's going to be a good time to kind of revamp as far as like, hey, what are our 20 best sellers and what is not selling? And let's really kind of tune in to that and then expand on those things.
Very cool.
Yeah, update some of the inside of the building, I think.
Like new paint, new everything?
Like overall, if anyone's out there listening, help me. I want to rip out carpet. I want to lower ceilings. I want to, take out pegboard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huge.
I would love kind of a modernized look and feel. But I would like to continue that charm though, and that like old town local store feel.
You mentioned making a corner kind of in dedication to your ancestry in this business. What will that have in it?
Oh man, I would love it to have a soda shop counter that I believe might be downstairs.
Okay.
I don't know how we're going to get it up, but we'll figure it out. A couple of the cool displays. We've got a Lehi drug light up clock that's down there. Some pictures. We have some really cool pictures. Like I have a picture of Gerald Taylor, my great grandpa, standing in the pharmacy as a pharmacist.
Wow.
I think the pictures will be really cool for locals to see because it's not like they're going to go home and like, oh, what is the history of that store? But if they come in and see it, they'll be like, oh, that is really interesting.
Yeah.
Like we have a Santa Claus over there that has been in part of the Lehi drug business for like 70 years.
Oh, wow.
And every year we bring him up and put him on display and then take him downstairs. But things like that are really, there's some little treasures that we could bring up.
If I can, I was looking at your website on the way over here, and I was like, they just need an about button that's like all these pictures and this history because there's such a rich story here.
Yes, yeah.
And, there's two sides of this. Shop local because it's actually really important, but also people eat that up. They're like, this has been in the generation for this long, and like I can support this like generational family business.
I like that idea.
It's a selling point in and of itself.
Yeah.
Even though you guys provide a great service in addition to that, just because it's been in the family, it's something that people want to support.
For sure. I think, this is what, like, so I think, I'm not a website. I don't know. I know basics of, how to upload a product and stuff, but some of those things I'm like, I need someone. I need someone to do that. And that's one of I think our weaknesses, I guess, is not having a specific person for each job. We're trying to kind of do it all.
Yeah.
And so a lot of things have gotten overlooked.
Yeah. A great book for that, The E-Myth Revisited.
E-Myth Revisited?
Yeah, Michael
Awesome.
Gerber. Anyone listening, it's a great book. That's
Okay.
the Bible of operations.
Really? I
for small
love
business.
recommendations.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, check that out. So your family has owned and operated a business in Utah for over 100 years at this point.
Yes. Yeah.
What advice do you have to other Utah entrepreneurs to stay afloat in Utah, to succeed in Utah, to build an awesome community and business here?
I think this is probably not the best advice, but not thinking too much about the financial part and thinking about the people. I think that is what has kept us in business and being smart about decisions and financial things. But if it were me, and maybe it's because I'm more of a people person, I'm more of the creative side and the front of the store end thing. I'm not as much in the back end with all the financials. But it would be to just make sure your customers are happy.
Yeah.
However you need to do it.
What's your favorite part about Pioneer Party?
I love working with the girls I work with. I feel like so blessed to come to work and have like nice, good, genuine people to work with. And then I love making people happy, and not just me, but all the employees. I love that they can come in and leave with like a gift to give someone, a balloon to give someone, a banner to help celebrate, or make an event, even if it's like a business opening, and, they can come here and we can help them make it pretty, make it easy for them. And the connections, having locals come in and we know each other by name. And it is amazing. I love that. I think it would be way different if there weren't those connections.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're really selling time back to these people.
Yeah.
And there's such a huge value in that. And I can make my party, my celebration, my visit to my neighbor aesthetically pleasing and look like I put all this work into it, and you guys did the work for them.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. That's a very good way to put it, that you're giving them their time back. I love it.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for having us.
Yes. Thank you so much. It's been nice to talk to you, Keaton.
Yeah. If anybody wants to buy something from Pioneer Party, it's just pioneerparty.net.
Yep.
Great.
Or better yet, come in, because so many more things are amazing in our store than on our website. But yes,
Exactly.
Start at the website. If
You
you'd
said
like.
the right thing. You said the right thing. If they're not, if you're more than 3 hours away, you can visit the website. Otherwise, you have to drive here.
Make a trip. There's
Yeah.
honestly, I can't even believe how many people drive here, and they'll be like, "Oh, I just drove from Grantsville," or "I just drove from Tooele," or and we're like,
Wow.
"Really? Thank you so much for coming."
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. But before you go, please listen to these 3 things. I promise to make it quick. Number 1, make sure to follow UtahPreneur on whatever your favorite social platform is. The links are always in the show notes. Number 2, if you enjoyed this episode, the best way to support this podcast is leave a review, share it with a friend, or subscribe, or do all 3. And lastly, you are not going to want to miss last week's episode with Elise Jackson, the founder of Beehive Meals. They are the 3rd fastest growing business in Utah, and it started out as a simple side hustle. So it's definitely going to be one of the staple episodes that people come back to again and again on this podcast. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.